If you've ever struggled with staying consistent with your content creation, you need a content calendar, my friend. And in today's episode, I have a brand new super hot template that I'm going to walk you through so that you get started with that first super important step. Let's get into it. Alright, familia. So here we are inside our content calendar template. You can snag this free template in the link in the section right below this video. So definitely check that out. And then the first step is really going here and understanding that you're going to be wanting to plan 1 month ahead of time. We're going to start with 1 month. If 1 month feels too much, then just start with 1 week. It's totally okay to just be 1 week ahead and work your way up. Eventually, I'd love for you to get to 90 days of content that's already planned and ideally batch created. But we don't always get there. We start baby steps. So baby step number 1 is making sure that you have the platforms that you're using right here. And we've made this super easy and interactive for you. So you can just go ahead and select the platforms that make sense for you, the ones that you are currently on. And you can customize this to your heart's delight and content, really. So let's say that you're doing Instagram right here, right? So we have Instagram, Twitter. Maybe we're doing a blog or a podcast or some long-form content. This is maybe what that would look like. And so you want to go ahead and just be very specific with the content that you are creating. And I already have some ideas here pre-filled for you, but I just want to show you what this could potentially look like. So let's say that for us, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on Pinterest, and we are on YouTube. Now, you have your social platforms. You can go ahead and add them for each week. And once you have these outlined and they're ready for you, you can go ahead and step number 2 is to jump into the type of posts that you want to start creating. And so for this one, we like to call these content buckets. I actually have a really great blog post that I wrote. Like, guys, it's 2013. 10 years ago is when I wrote this blog post, but we kept it updated the last 10 years. And it's the most popular blog post on our website, and for a good reason. So part of that blog post, there's tons and tons of resources that are going to be in that post for you. But in this blog post, we have what our social content buckets could look like. And this is a really helpful visual just to understand what your content buckets and your content ideas could be. Now, keep in mind, this is going to depend on the individual social media channel that you're using. And so we want to go ahead and make those ideas or add those ideas right here, the type of post. This just centers you and reminds you of like, okay, this is what I'm creating on Facebook versus what I'm creating on Twitter versus what I'm creating on my podcast. All these things are a little bit different. And so you want to add a little bit of strategy right here. This is a time where you can be creative, where you can add your own twist on things. And for us, let's say that Facebook really caters to things like memes and quotes and question and prompt starters. It's typically what gets a lot of engagement in addition to, of course, short-form video. And so we want to do, let's say, inspirational quotes, questions, starters, and prompts on Facebook. Then with Twitter, we want to have original thoughts, right? That's something that's important here. You can have retweets. Maybe you don't want to do original thoughts. Maybe you're just going to be adding here some quotes, and maybe you're going to be posting some fun facts, right? That's just an idea. Again, don't judge me over here. Your Twitter strategy might be way more complex than this, but for someone who's just getting started, this is a really great starting point. And even for people who have been at it for a while, too. Alright, so Instagram. Let's say that you want to post inspirational quotes or IG stories. For us, we mainly post reels, and these reels are from our long-form videos. So these are clips from our long-form videos. And then we're always posting IG stories, and inside of these IG stories, we're going in and adding value, answering questions, sharing some of our clip videos. So it just varies depending on the type of content you want to create, the type of platform that you're on. So lots of free reign here. If you want even more ideas and to dive deeper, definitely check out the blog post that accompanies this episode. Okay, so obviously questions, starters, and prompts are not going to make sense for something like Pinterest. So we're going to want to go ahead and maybe we are posting a blog, which is blogs on Pinterest, as well as repinning content from other people. We want to curate content on Pinterest. We also want to create our own original content, and Pinterest does fabulous with blogs as well as videos and podcasts, but in reformatting added into blogs. Okay, and then we have YouTube. And of course, we're not going to do new or existing blog. That doesn't make a lot of sense. But what does? This used to be a blog category. But what does make sense here is to, of course, add long-form video and shorts. Boom. So we have our main content buckets, and we are getting ready to write captions and start actually planning and creating some of our content. Now, one thing that's really important here is to keep in mind that no matter how these platforms change and evolve, let's say that you're watching this video 2 or 3 years down the road, every single platform here is customizable. So if shorts go away, or maybe, I don't know, Twitter is launching more video content, then you want to customize this as you see fit. So the key here is to make it your own and make sure that you're creating this template in a way that helps facilitate your workflow, not that it hinders you or it makes you more stressed, because that's not the point. Alright, so now we're going into our captions, and you can decide to go ahead and write the caption directly into the spreadsheet. It's what I recommend doing at the beginning because it keeps everything really simple and straight to the point. By the way, this is a ton of social media content for someone who's just getting started. I highly recommend selecting one long-form platform, meaning YouTube, podcast, a video show, a blog, something that really builds your authority as an entrepreneur, as a creator, and then supplementing it with a supporting community platform. That's where your Facebook or your Twitter or your Facebook group or your LinkedIn or your Instagram, even platforms like TikTok, that's where they come in. And so that's something to think about as you're looking at the sport. I don't want you to get stressed out that you have to be on all these platforms at once, because you really do not. Okay, and so from here, we're just adding our captions, right? So let's say I want to post an inspirational quote and I want to add an entire caption around it, right? So I can pull in that inspirational quote that I want to add here, and I'm going to pause the video, find one that I like, and then add it here so that it's easier for you to follow along. Alright, so I love this one by Aristotle, and it says, "Be a free thinker and don't accept everything you hear as truth." Super timely. Be critical and evaluate what you believe in. Now, one of the things that I do with this type of quote, type of poster or content bucket, is I actually like highlighting a bunch of the books that I'm reading and pulling quotes from the actual books I read, whether it's business or marketing, the Bible, inspirational books, faith books, things that really move me and I want to share with my audience, and then I will add it here. Now, because we're doing this on the fly, I just looked up a quote that resonated with me. And you can easily just go in here and add something else to the caption if you want to. Otherwise, you could just leave it as is. Boom. Ready to go. Then we can jump into actually creating the visual for this post. Alright, great job. Now that you have an idea of what your caption is going to be, we're going to go ahead and create the visual for this particular post. I love using a tool like Canva, but feel free to use whatever graphic tool that you enjoy. Now, this goes a lot easier and a lot faster when you actually have templates like the ones that we sell on our shop. Shameless plug. But if you don't have this already, there's some really great ones that you can customize right here. So I'm going to go ahead and search for a quote, and let's say that I like something like this. Of course, I'm picking something ultra girly. That's how I roll. And then I'm just going to add the quote that I just found. By the way, this is the perfect thing to outsource to a VA once you hire one. It makes life a lot easier when it comes to content creation. Alright, so we have our type of pose, we have our content buckets, we have our caption, and we have our graphic, right? Super easy, super simple. You can decide to go ahead and download that graphic and add it to the spreadsheet. I think it's a lot faster just to go ahead and link where it is. So I'm just going to pop in my Canva link, and then the next step is figuring out your post frequency, which is exactly what it sounds like. You're going to figure out when you're going to post on the different platforms that you're posting on or you're getting content on. Now, again, going back to our blog post, I just wanted to show you a little bit of a visual of what that might look like for you. And for us here, we have, okay, let's say that we're going to be posting on Facebook 1-3 times a day, on Twitter 6-10 times a day, Pinterest 3-10 times a day.